Hi, this is Miss Journey. I'm on my second installment of my conversation. I'd like to talk today about what multiple sclerosis actually is, also known as the little slang term of MS. As I was talking to friends about doing this, everyone said they wanted to have a conversation about what actual multiple sclerosis was, just so everybody could understand where we're coming from. Today I'd like to start and read a really excellent description that I found off of CVS Caremark specialty pharmacy area. It's probably one of the best and most concise descriptions I've ever found, so I'm going to read this to you. Multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a disease that affects the body's nervous system. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and spinal cord. With MS, the body's immune system attacks the nervous system and destroys the myelin. Myelin is a fatty substance that coats and protects the nerves so impulses, messages, can travel down them. Myelin can be compared to the installation of electrical wires. Over time, the actual nerves also can become damaged. Damaged areas of myelin and nerves is called lesions. Damages also lead to permanent areas of scar tissue, which is called plaques. The name multiple sclerosis refers to multiple meaning many and sclerosis meaning scars. Lesions and plaques can disrupt the flow of nerve impulses. That means messages sent from the brain and spinal cord to the other parts of the body are slowed down or blocked. Most MS symptoms are due to the slow or blockage of nerve impulses. Right now, it is estimated that 2.5 million people worldwide have MS. Most of the MS is diagnosed in people with ages between 15 and 20. It can also affect children and older people, and women are affected more than men. One of the big things that they don't talk about here is the fact that so far it's mostly been within like the US and England and Europe and a lot of the more developed countries. Also, it's usually considered a Caucasian disease. Now they're actually saying that it's other races and also underdeveloped countries which are also seeing a rise in this disease. It's not that the disease is spreading anymore, it's actually that the diagnosis is happening a lot more. This diagnosis is due to the fact that it takes an MRI image to see the scarring or lesions on the brain and spinal cord, and also after you see the lesions they usually do what they call a lumbar puncture and take fluid from the spinal cord to see if there's any of the immune system's antibodies floating in there. If there is, that's when they decide that you actually have the disease. This disease, since it's not autoimmune, is also related to many other autoimmune diseases such as lupus and fibromyalgia. You also find a lot of people that have MS will actually have lupus as well as fibromyalgia, and people with lupus are later on diagnosed with MS. And so that's kind of another conversation that we can have later, but right now we're seeing not a rise in it in the country, in the world, but we're seeing basically a better diagnosis, because the more a country has the ability to have MRIs and these lumbar punctures, which are very expensive and newly technical ways of diagnosing, the diagnoses are coming more often and more rapidly, where people before just never were diagnosed with it. One of the other things that falls into this is the fact that it takes some medicine to have, takes a lot of medicine, and to actually give you a nice long life expanse. We'll be able to edit, right? Okay. Actually, the next thing I'd like to talk about is the fact that there are medicines that can slow the progression of this disease down, because this disease can give you, the other thing I want to talk about is there are medicines that will slow the progress of this disease down. They are highly expensive. Currently the one I am on is like $7,000 to $10,000 a month. Fortunately, I work and have good insurance with my company. Now, my Actual copays can sometimes range about $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month, but currently I'm only paying $100 a month. What's really nice is a lot of times if you research, you can find that the different pharmaceutical companies will actually help you pay the copays so that you don't have zero copay or a very limited amount of copays. I'm fortunate that I can afford to pay $100 a month. Other people cannot. So with this medicine, you can actually live a longer life. And again, that's another thing that when you get into the more evolved countries and you actually have a better diagnosis, you also have better medicine. Then the other item that I wanted to say was to my friend Karen, who I met her in my neurologist's office. She was very scared because she was believing that she was going to get a diagnosis, and she believed it was MS. It was very likely it was going to be MS since she had been transferred over to the MS neurologist, but that she was very frightened and scared. But you really don't have to be frightened and scared of this disease. It is a disease. It's not a good one. But there are the medicines, and there's a lot of knowledge that's being gained around this disease and a lot of research. And you really can live a good, long, substantial life with this. And you don't have to worry about being afraid of this disease. And we can go further with that. I'd like to have other conversations around these areas, and it's just what we can talk about later on. I'd also like to talk about the work area, how the disease is identified by other people and friends around you. So these are the other conversations that we will have. Also, if you want to research this, because I am not a doctor, I am not a physician, I'm a person with this disease. I have done a lot of research myself once I was diagnosed. So what I tell you is to take it as a person with the disease. Do not take this as gospel or anything like that, that this is what you want. To know this is the solid information, please go to your neurologist, please go to your other doctors, and you need to have the doctors work together, your general physician, your neurologist, and any other specialists as you go through this disease that you'll be having to help you. Physical therapy, any urologist, anything like that. Have them talk to each other. Also, don't take the word of one neurologist as gospel either, and be sure and question your doctors, research your doctors, and find a good one. I've found some really magnificent ones at Mayo Clinic. I currently have a really wonderful physician and wonderful neurologist and the assistant, physical doctor's assistant with that, and I'm really happy. Also, I've had one or two really poor neurologists, which I have moved on from, who weren't taking care of me. So these are the other items that you need to kind of look for as you're going through this disease. And again, you can go out and do a lot of research. There's the Mayo Clinic is one of the best places to go to research. There's Barrow Neurological. Colorado State University has a very wonderful information. There is the National Health Association, the NHA, which you'll find is a really wonderful source for all diseases. And they're just great documentation out there. Go out to the Multiple Sclerosis Society and many of the other multiple sclerosis groups out there. Join a group, find out about disease, remain social, and you're going to do just fine with this. So we'll have more conversations. Please contact me and we can have more conversations around this. I'm more than happy to talk if there's anything that we want to talk about in the future, but I'm going to give more details about symptoms and other items. So I hope this was very helpful for you today, and all the information provided was useful to you, and you can go out and keep on the discussion going forward. And good luck to everybody, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.